Why is it that recruiters hit these natural walls where no matter what they do, no matter how much they try, they just can't break through to that next level? And why is it that so many people in the same firms hit the same ceilings with only one or two people maybe pushing through? I'm going to explain the reason that that happens, and I'm going to give you two options for how to do it. The two options for how to do it come at the end of the video, so hang on until we get there. I'm Stephen Long, and I've spent more than 25 years helping thousands of recruitment consultants build better with a lot less stress and effort so they can enjoy better lives, which, let's face it, is what most of us are looking for. So if you want more and more information about how to be a better recruiter, make more money for less effort, and enjoy your life a hell of a lot more, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification buttons, and that way you won't miss out on any of the recruitery goodness that is to come. The reason that so many recruitment consultants in the same firm will stall at about the same sort of level with maybe one or two pushing through is really simple once you understand the process. It's down to something called the learning cycle. It's a bit like a spin cycle, only a lot less exciting. I'll do my best though. Now, the learning cycle is a very well-known principle as understood by training professionals and the like, but most people don't really understand it, how it applies to recruitment and influence. But once you get it, you'll very quickly understand how it's absolutely fundamental. So let me just explain it. The learning cycle has 4 stages, and it's normally shown as a flat circle, as a diagram. And it goes from unconscious incompetence, which is where you don't know that you don't know. It then moves on to conscious incompetence, which is where you do know that you don't know. You then move to conscious competence, which is where you know what you're doing, but you're not that good at it. And then it moves on to unconscious competence, which is the level at which you know what you're doing and you're really good at it and you do it automatically. Now, the simplest example I can give you is learning to drive. When you're 10 or 11 years old, you just assume you can drive. You've seen cars on the road, you've seen cars in the movies, you've seen people driving, so you just assume that if you got behind the wheel of a vehicle, you'd be able to drive it. And you've probably seen those incidents on YouTube or social where that's actually happened. Rarely ends well. That's unconscious incompetence. You then get to the point at which you want to learn to drive, and you get your first driving license at whatever age is appropriate, wherever you're watching this from, and you suddenly realise that watching driving movies and watching the Fast and the Furious isn't the best preparation for actually getting in a car and making it go safely where you want it to. That's conscious incompetence. You then have your lessons. You learn mirror, indicate, manoeuvre, you learn to use the clutch, or you learn the road awareness, you take the theory tests and you understand the road signs and all that sort of stuff. And at that point, you're consciously competent. You can do it, but you're not very good at it. It's what a friend of mine calls a moving traffic hazard. You know, you can get around and you're legal, but you're thinking about it all the time. And because you're thinking about it all the time, you're not that great at it. You then eventually, with enough practice and enough effort and literally enough miles under the belt, you become unconsciously competent, which is where you're not thinking about it, but you do mirror, indicate, manoeuvre. You are aware of all the traffic that's going on behind you. You are checking your mirror all the time. You're aware of the signs as they're coming up. That's unconscious competence. Now, you may well be aware that there's a couple of options at that point. You can drop back into unconscious competence, from unconscious competence into unconscious incompetence, which is where, you know, you've stopped thinking about it and you're running on autopilot and you're not doing mirror, indicate, manoeuvre. You're just driving around and you're the sort of person that never has an accident, but you keep seeing them behind you all the time and people on your left and right having these smashes, and you're amazed at how dangerous other people are. Now, that's quite a common instance when it comes to driving. We've all seen it. But you'd also be amazed how common it is when it comes to recruitment and influence skills. You learn the recruitment process. You learn a recruitment process. You learn some sales skills, you learn some closing technique, you learn some objection handling technique, and you just go through and your deals are okay and your pipeline's all right and there's new stuff coming through and your candidates don't swear when they hear your name and it's all right because you've learned the skills but you're not using them anymore. That's one option. And the simple solution to that one, let me give you this straight away, is to go back a stage, go back to consciously competent, relearn how to reapply the skills that made you reach a certain level of success. That's great. Here's where it gets fun though. The fun bit is that I mentioned earlier that the learning cycle is normally shown as a flat circle. In real life, it's not. In real life, it's an upward spiral. You become consciously competent at a level, and you don't know that the next level exists. Or if you know that it exists, you don't know that you don't know how to do it. You think that just putting in more hours, putting in more cold calls, working harder, working weekends, doing more social, just doing more is going to transform your results. And it won't. It can't. Because most people do the best they can with what they know. But that means that what you know is incapable of taking you to the next level, because if it could, it already would have. Does that make sense? Let me just reiterate that one. People do the best they can with what they know, but what they know is incapable of taking them to the next level. Now, if you're a competent 150, 200,000 pound biller, fantastic. Have you met a £1 million biller? Have you met somebody doing $500,000 every single year, year in, year out? You may have, and you may have just looked at them and gone, well, they've got the same number of limbs as me and they're not that much smarter than me. In fact, they're probably more stupid than I am, and yet they're doing 2, 3, 5 times as much as I am. What the hell's going on there? It's really simple. I'll come to it in a second. Now, let me answer the question I posed right at the start. Why is it that so many people hit this blockage? They just stall at the same point, and most people in the same firm will hit that roadblock and just kind of stick there. If you think about it for a second and you think about the learning cycle and you realize that whatever level you reach, you're unconsciously incompetent about how to reach the next level. Now, think about recruitment firm owners, recruitment firm managers. Very few people found a recruitment firm completely cold from scratch. It happens because it's a spectacularly good industry when you do it right. But most recruitment firms are founded and managed by people who've been perfectly decent recruiters. And when you reach a certain point in recruitment, the natural career progression, you've got that choice. You can either carry on billing with your own desk, or you can take on some management responsibilities. It's that sort of up or out. Now, if you've got a founder who knows how to bill 200,000 a year, they've saved their cash, they've saved their commissions, they've invested some money, and they've founded a firm. God bless them. The world needs entrepreneurs. The world needs founders. Do they know how to bill $750,000 a year? No, they don't. Because if they did, they'd have done it, and they'd have either started the firm sooner or bigger or whatever. And then they grow their firm by bringing in people and getting them to a similar level, maybe slightly less, because you get the photocopy effect where you photocopy a photocopy of a photocopy, if you remember photocopies. So you don't quite replicate it. So if they were doing 250,000 a year, maybe everyone else in the firm gets a sort of 200 and that's their ceiling. Maybe they're a really good coach. Maybe they know exactly what they're doing and they can get their colleagues to get to the same level they were at, 250. Well, can they, as a founder or as a manager, help their colleagues go from 250,000 to 500,000? Probably not, for the simple reason that they're unconsciously incompetent. They don't know that they don't know how to do it. There's no malice involved. They just don't know that they don't know. Unconsciously incompetent. And that's why whatever firm, whatever specialism, whatever niche, whatever area of the business, I know firms where, that they are spectacularly successful and everyone in the firm is doing 750,000 a year. I've met a few firms where that's quite common. But within those firms, you'll only have one, maybe two people who hit the seven-figure club, because they kind of average out, they top out about 750. I know lots of firms where people top out at 175, 200. That's £1,000, by the way. They top out at that level. And maybe somebody will get to 250, maybe 300, but it's rare. And when that outlier happens, it's because they've stumbled across something, or they've accidentally come across one thing, or they've picked up a great idea from somewhere or somebody, and they've applied it and it's worked. But could they replicate that? Could they show their peers how to make that breakthrough? Probably not, because they don't know what they're doing, how they're doing it, or why. And they don't know 2 or 3 alternatives to every approach. And those are the 4 things that you need to know to reach the next level. You need to know what to do, how to do it, why, as in why it's important to do it those ways and those things, and then you need to know some alternatives. There's no point having a strategy. You know the old saying about, if all you've got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail? If you've only got one way of doing anything, at some point it's going to stop working. So you need to have alternatives. So those are the 4 things that you need in place. You need to know what to do, how to do it, why to do it that way, and have alternative ways of approaching it. And even those outlying billers, those colleagues who do hit that level up, they're very rarely consciously competent. They very rarely understand those 4 elements. They're just, not, I wouldn't say lucky. They've not got lucky. They've worked hard and they've observed what works and they've learned from it. But can they show you how to do the same thing? Probably not. So it's not that it's impossible to reach the next level. It's not that somebody's holding you back. It's not often that somebody's holding you back. It's not that there's anything malicious going on. It's simply that people don't know what they don't know. And that's it. Okay? So those 2 elements, the learning cycle and the skill cycle. The skill cycle is those 4 elements I expressed earlier on. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was going to give you 2 ways to make that breakthrough. I'm a person of my word. Let me honour it. The first is you network. You network within the recruitment industry. I rarely say you should do that. I normally talk about networking in your clients and candidates markets. But network in the recruitment industry and find those people who are achieving those outlier results, those people who are achieving that next level, or preferably 2 or 3 levels above it. You'd be amazed how easy it is to find them. And normally, in my experience, because I used to do this research for a living, if you go to those people who are genuinely awesomely good at what they do, they're normally very happy to share their knowledge and their experience, because honestly, they've got no axe to grind. They don't feel threatened by somebody else's success because, they're doing great, thank you. They don't need to hold on to their little pearls and nuggets of gold because, hell, if you succeed, you're not going to threaten them anyway. So the first approach is to find those people out there. They're not that hard to find. Just put the word out. Start asking around. You'll find them. Make some contacts. Have some conversations. The second route is to find someone like me who has been in the industry and then studied the science of influence so that they know what to do, how to do it, why to do it that way at that time, and they know the alternatives. Now, I'm going to be, perfectly honest, I rarely blow my own trumpet. As it happens, I don't know anybody in the recruitment market that knows half of what I do about half the stuff and the range of experience and skills in recruitment and influence that I do. But there are some very, very good people out there. Find yourself a coach, find yourself a trainer, find yourself somebody you just hook onto on YouTube and social and suck up everything they can get for you. And that way you can learn. Now, if you're interested in learning from me, have a look down there, and in the description of the video you'll find a link to the Billings Accelerator. It's a 7-day program. It will cost you the princely sum of £7, and it's just to get you an understanding of the basic foundations that underpin every successful recruiter, whether it's success is billing 250,000 or whether success is billing 7 figures. There are certain foundational structures that everybody uses that knows exactly what they're doing to build their success. But if you want to go with me, terrific. Love to hear from you, love to have you on board. If you want to go and find somebody else, that's great, brilliant. It doesn't threaten me, it doesn't cause me any headache. If you find somebody you prefer, that's fantastic. Go with it. Learn from somebody that you can learn from. And go down one of those 2 routes. Either find someone that can mentor you or find someone that can coach you and train you through whatever medium. It's great nowadays with YouTube and social and all the other things, that the downloadables and streamable. So many ways to do what 25 years ago I had to do by literally cold calling people and sitting with them for a coffee. Learn your stuff. But it all starts by recognizing that however good you are and whatever level you are, somebody, some people, somewhere are a level, 2 levels or 3 levels beyond where you are. Recognize that you're unconsciously incompetent of what it takes to hit to that next level. I know, it's ego bruising, it sucks. Deal with it, accept it, and reach that point of conscious incompetence. Because then the pathway to the next level is wide open to you. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. If this has been interesting, hit the subscribe button, hit the like and notification button so you get all the updates. Please leave some comments. Let me know what you liked, didn't like. Throw some questions in there, whatever you want to do. I will answer every comment personally. And if you do want to engage with the Billings Accelerator, just follow the link, sign up, and I'll see you in the Facebook group. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.